Welcome back, everybody, to this week's episode of Two Tamers Talk. Back.
Not only that, it's a good one.
Yeah.
It's a good episode. I love the fact that we're doing it back-to-back, but we had a big release drop. Not necessarily a physical cardboard.
Yeah. So last week we were kind of, we were looking at, God, what can we talk about this week? And it's like, not a whole lot of news. We're right before a new format. We're like, this is usually like the dead zone for Digimon news, because it's not even really worth doing like tournament results. I mean, there are a couple winners of an Ultimate Cup regional, so well done to them. But it's at the end of the format, so it's not. People aren't going to play those decks next week because we're going to have pre-release and new cards. So
I think we're all looking forward to that. And next week we'll have a fun episode where we talk about, maybe pre-release strategies, or we'll actually be able to start getting into BT16, where we've had BT15 for so long.
Yeah.
It's
next week will already be one pre-release deep.
Yeah,
that's one on Sunday and one on Wednesday.
There's one on this Sunday?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Whoopsies.
So, all kinds of stuff going on. So a whole bunch of fun stuff going on later, but we were like, God, is there anything interesting that's going to happen this week? And then all of a sudden, the bomb drops, and we get the Digimon Simulator.
Yes,
from Huang Zero.
Yep,
and a couple. I mean, he did it with some other
first
people,
of all,
but yeah,
huge shout out.
Yeah,
this was a massive undertaking, a huge project. I mean, Huang Zero. I don't know if you're watching our stuff, but thank you so much.
Yeah, for sure.
We've absolutely been loving playing it. It downloaded, and all of us downloaded it the day of.
Yeah.
We started playing right away. Again, very well done. It's huge. Yeah. It's really good.
And it answers the age-old question that we've been talking about for the past almost, 3 years?
Yeah.
Does Digimon need a simulator? Does it need an official client? Does it need just some kind of online companion?
Sure.
And I think I've gone on record as saying that I didn't want an official companion.
And I was going to ask you about this, so this is perfect.
Yeah. And I still think that way.
Yeah.
I don't think that the game would benefit from an official client. I think this is exactly what the game needs. I think this is a simulator to test. It's a way to matchmake with your friends. Because, if you go back, I've always been jealous about you living close to your brother who plays, or you living with your wife that plays, or we have friends that live together that play together. And I'm like, dude, you guys get to practice and test all the time. You get to hone your skills. You get to test decks. You get to do that one card edit, test the deck a lot, change that card out, put a new one in, really fine tune stuff. And it's like, some people just don't have that access unless they want to set up a webcam, talk to some stranger, show them your house, show them your feet, like all kinds of weird stuff. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Well, it sucks when for someone who doesn't have a perfectly good setup, for someone who doesn't have a nice computer, not that you need a nice computer, but maybe doesn't have like the webcam space to play, or finding people, because let's say our community has, I'm just throwing a number out there, 30 people that we can jump on Discord with. Well, half of them aren't available that night. Half of them work different shift, so it's hard to find people that to be able to play with. So having that ability to just hit random match has been something that we've all been looking forward to and needing to. And I welcome this, man. So I agree with what you said, first of all. Having an official client, I would worry about the sales of the game. And I don't want the game to die out because we have an official, right? So I think maybe this is a perfect, kind of like what you said, like a perfect spot, because Bandai can't use this in their official tournaments. Yeah. Right? We still have to play with physical cards, which is how it should be. And then, but we also can just be able to test randomly. You can get on friends matches. It's nice. Like these past couple days, we've all been streaming on the Discord. Yeah. And I think what I'm going to start doing is maybe I'll stream on our Discord. So if you haven't already, jump on Digital Gate Studios, join our Discord.
For sure.
Yep. And I'll start streaming my games, maybe talk a little bit with fans when I can. In the actual Discord. Jesse, I know you've been starting a Twitch channel.
I did start a Twitch channel, yeah. So we'll have the link in the description below. Maybe we'll have it right here. But it's just Jesse DGS. And I've been having a ton of fun with it. Last night I streamed for 4 hours. Didn't even feel like that. Got in there with both Jacobs, Basil. I know you've been in before. It's I had 90% of the setup stuff already, so it was a really easy
you've kind of
shift.
been talking about doing Twitch for a while,
but I didn't want a Twitch webcam because I don't know.
This is better.
This is better. You got to worry about glare, and then every time you want to switch decks, you're like, let me grab another deck. Let me take the Death X's out of this deck. Let me take the Ruin
And then before you know it,
deck.
your desk is full of cards.
And your room is destroyed.
Yeah.
And so it's like, this is so much easier.
And it's just easy to hit screen share,
absolutely.
on this, and it's a perfect way. The effects are done automatically. You know, like, I mean, I love this. This is great, and I'm really happy that you're streaming. So hopefully you guys get on there, get a chance to talk with us. We're gonna start streaming a little bit more. I know you're doing it on Twitch. I don't really feel like starting a Twitch right now. Maybe I will. Who knows?
Yeah,
I might just jump in randomly on Discord. But
if you jump in on Discord, we can do our conversations through Twitch. So you can see us play through that.
We'll figure things out, but I'm just looking forward to this. And like, you know, when the sim dropped, we're messing with it, we're trying it, we're all doing fun things with it. And then we were kind of talking about maybe nothing set in stone yet, so don't get your hopes up yet, but maybe doing DGS tournaments.
Yeah, something like that.
Because not only do we have the capabilities of being able to create room codes to you know, hey, you guys are going to play here, you guys are going to play against each other, whatever. But, you know, maybe even like I've always like theme nights, you know, like the whole color specific tournament. Like, I mean, this is just an idea I have. How fun would it be to do like BT1 only, you know, type tournament, right? Or BT2 or whatever. And then like maybe, you know, work throughout every couple of weeks, add a set.
Format,
whatever it is, being able to host things like that. So, you know, let us know in the comments and let us know on Discord ourselves what you guys want to see. If you guys want to start doing some tournaments with this, you know, maybe we probably won't do any prizing or anything like that because, you know, we're not made of money and we're kind of just doing this for fun because we love the game. But this is awesome. The whole sim is great. So
one thing people, what they are going to get is something you guys have been asking for a long time. This is going to enable us to do gameplay video so much easier, so much more efficiently. So we'll be able to record private matches with some of the decks from our deck profiles on the channel. And it'll be seamless and way less work for me to edit than try and figure out glare and 2 cameras, 2 microphones,
and 2 mats, and
all the cards popping
up.
It's a lot of editing for you know, a quick game.
And the way we would do our gameplay footage is we have this long table that we're kind of sitting at, and either Jesse would be over at his desk, and one of us would be here, or both of us would be here. And so it would be hard to see the opponent's board
all the way over there,
all the way on a different side with his different desk, whatever. And just having that simulator is going to add so much to it. So, I mean, again, huge shout out to Wong Zero. If you're not following him, go follow him. Get, you know, I think he's asking for donations to try to get an auto updater at some point.
Well,
I know
I know the donations. He's not taking any money for the simulator itself. So it is a completely free project. He wants it to be free. But anything you can do to support him is always great. I know I've donated to the Patreon. It is, I mean, this is just so good for the entire community.
It is. It really is.
And I think it's going to have some lasting effects. I think people,
so too.
I mean, I know I've probably played over 300 games already. And I
it's
think
so easy. You just hit random match and boom and go. And you can just get so many games in instead of tearing about the deck, reshuffle, switch decks, whatever, you know, like edit card. I mean, I can't stop talking about it.
It's going to have some impact. I mean, obviously people are going to be better, I think, because people are going to get to practice more. But I was talking to Basil about this. And one thing that he's happy that there's not, I mean, if we're talking about how it's a free not open source, but, you know, kind of loosey-goosey kind of thing. There's no ladder. There's no rankings. And I think that that's good.
I agree. I don't want that.
I don't want that either. I think that if they put that in there, the hyper-competitive people might stop going to locals because they might stop
and just play on the ladder.
They might just try and be the best on the online client rather than, you know.
So
for me, we don't do that.
For me, right, I've been playing the One Piece simulator, right? And the One Piece sim was another one made by a fan. I don't know the name. Forgive me in advance. And the One Piece sim, you know, it did a great job and let a lot of people play with decks, especially when product was hard to get. Test out more expensive cards, test fun things, and just play. And it's a very similar setup. There's no competitive, right? You can do the same join room with the code. And it has the random match feature, and it's perfect the way it is. You don't want to add a ladder. You don't want to do any of that. And the way this Digimon is better than that. Like, I don't know what I was expecting. I know we've all kind of heard, we've even talked about this before with Huang Zero when he was starting to work on this. And we're like, oh, cool, you know what's coming. We didn't think it was going to be this soon. We weren't prepared for a couple days ago for this to drop.
No, I wasn't ready for it to drop.
And it did, and it was like, oh, wow, this is huge. And then, I mean, the way everything looks is beautiful. Like the One Piece sim, for example, you can't really get alt arts, right? I mean, you can go in there and you can edit them and all this stuff, but you can here, and it's awesome the way this works. And it's like, oh man, it's the way the mats look, the way the memory gauge works. I mean, it has so many complicated effects. I don't know what it took, especially because I'm not an IT guy.
I was asking, I was asking Nito about that because I know he's kind of close to a couple judges and stuff. I was like, who was the head judge that helped consult this? Because some of those rulings, I'm still learning some of those. Like I forgot that like merciful mode stuff that has on deletions, if you tuck it, they don't get the on deletions. You know, because it never hits. It's not in the trash when they get to use their effects. Yeah, it's already at the bottom of the deck, and I totally forgot about that. And I was asking, I'm like, dude, there had to be like a top tier judge that was involved in the programming of this because there is some very minute things. That I'm like, wow, they got this right. Yep. It took me forever to remember this effect.
I agree. I mean, like, I've had, ruling assist, you just talked about merciful mode, where a question a lot of times come up is, what do you do with the Digi-Egg? Do you put the Digi-Egg in the deck? The answer is yes, because this has now confirmed it. And like, I'll get into a little bit more of this later, but I was rebuilding my Raidenmon deck, and I've been having a blast playing. It's been one of my favorite decks on the sim. And, by the time you tuck all three of the Sujin, Raijin, Fujin, I'll swing into a body, and I've had it where I had to trigger because it's not a Yume effect on the level 4, and I'm like, man, that was a rookie mistake. I swung into a level 4 or lower, but I bounced it and the attack fizzled. Right. That's another instance of great job with the rulings, great job with everything that had to go into all the steps of it. It's very interesting.
Yeah, it's very intuitive.
Yeah, and I really like how there. It's not perfect. No. Right. Yeah. But it's, for what it is, it's incredible.
The number one complaint I've heard so far, and if this is where we are, then we're in a good spot, is I can't rearrange my hand.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
So like the One Piece sim, this is, why I did want to bring it up, and I'm not trying to be ungrateful for this wonderful thing that we've gotten, right? Yeah. But it's nice to be able to drag your cards and move it in your hand, because a lot of times when you draw so many cards and you have a huge hand,
you want to sort them out.
You want to sort them out. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to be able to put your level 3s on one side, your whatever, organize them however you need to do it, because and stuff like that. So it's been great. I do think for anyone who is downloading the sim, understand that your first 5, 6, 7 games, you're going to make a mistake. Yeah. You're going to hard play a Chimeramon instead of DNA Digivolving it like I did. Yeah. You're going to accidentally think you grabbed the Tamer, but you grabbed the level 3 next to it and hard play that, and you can't take it back. Yeah. Or whatever. So you just... that's how it is with any online card game simulator, right? And it's a good thing. It's there, yeah. It's just going to take you extra practice and stuff like that. And I mean, again, I'm so happy about this.
What do you think of the best of one? What do you think of the one game? I like it. So, I like the boom, 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 boom.
So that was actually where I think you and I are going to differ, right? Okay. So again, not trying to talk about One Piece, right? But the One Piece sim, there's a rematch button.
Oh, that's cool.
And if you both hit it, you can play each other again. And I missed that. I want that.
I like that. I do like that. I do like that.
Yeah. So again,
I just don't want to be tied to a match for 3 rounds.
Yes.
Because I'm not a big fan of
No, what's nice about the One Piece,
jump as soon as someone hatches say I hate playing Beelzemon.
Yeah, you're like, I don't want to play.
They hatch Yaman and then I bail on the match. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. So I don't want people to do that. I want to be able to just be like, okay, it's only one game.
No, it's nice. The way the One Piece sim worked is they had a button that said rematch, and you click it, and then, or if your opponent clicks it first, it'll leave a little notice. This is your opponent has selected rematch or is ready for a rematch. And so you don't have to do it. And it doesn't have to be best of 3. You can sit there. I've had games where I play the same person 10 times, and we're sitting there chatting in the chat box, which... it's probably good Digimon doesn't have a chat box.
I'm glad
because
it
can be toxic.
Yeah.
But there's been a couple times where I've wanted to type in the chat like that was a good move. Because I love when someone does a good move on me. I want to give them props. Or something like that. Or I like making fun of myself too, where, when I'll accidentally hard play a Chimeramon for 7 instead of, DNA Digivolving and keeping my turn and combo going. I want to type in oof or F in the chat or something.
Right.
To just let him know that I didn't mean to do that. Obviously, I can't take that back, but, have the laughs like that. But it's probably better in the long run not to have a chat like that just for toxic reasons, right?
I have one request.
Sure.
My request is at the end of a match, whether you win or you lose, I really wish there was a button where you could see opponent's deck list.
Yes.
Because there have been some lists. I was playing a Machine Dramon player last night.
Yeah.
This deck was wild. I'm swinging. I hit 2 Dark Gaia Forces and a Trident Gaia in their security. I'm like, what is this deck?
How do you have room for that?
Because I want to see it. Not because I think it's a bad deck, but I'm like, okay, what did you take out?
Yep.
Like, is this a great deck? I really want to see I really want to see the ratios and stuff. And you don't have a chat box, so you can't. I have no idea
can't
who
type.
Can't type. You have no idea. You'll never see this person again, probably.
Yeah. Especially if their name's just opponent. It's not like you're going to find them again.
Exactly. So I do hope that that's a coming feature eventually. We are in version 1.0.0.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I mean, again, for being version 1, first release, it's huge. It's outstanding. It's very smooth. I think, maybe the only bug we found is that Analog Man asks you to, redirect when it's not a level 6, but it won't actually let you redirect.
Yeah.
Things like that. And that could just be like how the wording of the card is, where it's giving you the option and it's better to have that option and click don't use. You know what I'm saying?
But it slows things down sometimes.
Yeah. So the One Piece Sim doesn't show deck lists, but when I played Pokemon Go, or not Pokemon Go, I did play that, but I'm more talking about the TCG Online, whatever.
Yeah.
You could, at the end of the match, click see deck list and you could see their deck.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
And what I like about the One Piece Sim is that at the end of the game, you see your opponent's hand. It gets revealed. Because, it's like, I just sometimes I want to show my opponent how bad my hand was when I'm playing, or I want them to be able to see that. But again, nothing, no real complaints. The only thing out of all of that I would really like is just to reorganize the hand. That's the only thing, because I'm having a hard time scrolling through the cards. I really am.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if they're not going to do a chat box, maybe they could do something like Hearthstone, where you could do the emotes, when like you can tell that you're frustrated with your hand, you can just be like, you hit it and it does some kind of weird Digimon quote or something.
Yeah.
But,
maybe this is, so this is a thing, another One Piece Sim comparison. I'm sorry, I swear I'll be done.
Sure.
One Piece Sim will always give you the option because it's a counter game where you counter.
Yeah.
Even if you don't have counters in your hand. Digimon, when you swing, all of a sudden there's a delay on your opponent's side.
You can totally tell.
You can tell they have a blast in their hand because of the fact that it's letting them pick that. Sometimes they don't pick it.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you can do about that. I don't know if there's really a good way, because I don't know if I want a text box popping up every time saying, do you want to counter?
Yeah. There'd have to be a universal delay.
Yeah, so...
Which might slow things down.
Again, that's not a real complaint. It's just like an interesting thing I've noticed.
There's
a
tell there, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. And we were only getting more ace cards.
But you know what's great about doing this YouTube channel and great about this sim together is that I can just open up a tab of our deck lists that you have made, I have made, Basil's made, whatever, and just go and look at the deck list and just build it on the sim, start playing it, start messing with it. And it's been a blast, man. I've just been jumping on there. Yep. Have you had a deck that you've been playing that's been your favorite so far on the sim?
Gotcha, for sure.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I've been honing that. I've been changing one card here, one card there. Just because I'll take it to locals and I'll have good success with it, but it's something that I don't want to bring multiple weeks in a row because it does kind of frustrate your opponent sometimes. And but when I'm playing 25 different random people, I'm not really worried about frustrating people.
Yeah,
it's okay.
Sure. I've been having way too much fun with Tyrannos.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is. I built that on the sim. I've started to peak things a little bit here and there, and I have just been having so much fun playing that deck on the sim. It's ridiculous. I don't know what it is about that deck. Maybe I mean, besides being a huge Tyranno fan, but wow, it's so much fun.
It's always nice when you want to play something fun. I'll play 20 matches of Machine and Gotcha and Ulforce, and then all of a sudden I'll just be like, you know what? Let's play Cerberus Zero.
I was going to ask you, if you built that.
It's in there. Yeah, there's been a couple. I've played it on Twitch a couple times and got the big 6-7 swing thing to go off. It was pretty fun. People would light up and chat. They're like, "Oh my god, it worked!"
That's awesome. That's awesome. Let us know in the comments what your guys' thoughts are about the sim. Improvements you wish to see. Jump over Huang Zero's page again. Let him know how great of a job his team has done on this because this is huge. This is so good for the community in the game, and we need fans like him to be able to do stuff that we do. So again, it's awesome.
And Bandai, leave him alone.
Seriously,
this is good for the game. You're going to see card sales go up. I think so. I think you're going to start to see the expensive cards like Death X and Ruin Mode. People are actually going to get to use those cards now because they don't need a physical copy of them.
Yeah,
and you will see if you haven't been playing with these cards, because you don't own them or you can't afford them, you can play with them now in the sim and realize
without spending $50 on one or whatever and hoping you see it in the 4 rounds you get at locals. Now you can play 20 matches online in instance with the playset.
Yeah.
So
and then you'll know how good they are, and you will save money and go buy them.
Yeah,
because they are amazing cards.
Yeah,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, this is great, and it's awesome, man. I'm loving this whole thing. Again, I didn't think we were gonna get here.
I didn't either.
Yeah, they did such a good job with this. It's really nice how the whole thing worked out. It's awesome.
Yeah. So next up, on that note, once again, catch me on Twitch.
Yes.
I'm gonna stream probably almost every night. So if I'm playing the deck after the old fam's gone to bed, we're turning that stream button on. So
sure.
Let's get into some Q&A. This is something we missed last week, so we're gonna play a little catch up.
I'm glad
it's a new feature we're doing. And we just spaced it last week. We got too caught up in each other's company. So
that's exactly what happened. I'm really glad that you did this because this is a segment that this is kind of my baby that I thought of, and I love this, and I really wanted to implement this and use it, and then we completely forgot last week.
Yeah.
So, guys, on our Discord, link will be in the description. There's a section called Two Tamers Q&A. So I know a lot of people have been jumping in there and answering people's questions. I'm not going to stop you from doing that, but we are trying to make this like you're going to post the questions there. We're going to read them on on our podcast here. So the first question, this was a good question, and it's not necessarily geared towards you, but I thought this was a great example. So I scrolled back a little bit. This is from Watchdog Warren. Better one of tech for a Belphemon deck, Omnimon Zwart or EX5 Anubis? Jacob had already answered this. His answer was Belphid doesn't like level 7s. You want sleep mode to end attacks. And I wanted to 100% agree with that. I understand your reasoning of trying to incorporate these Zwart, but when in doubt, default to Basil saying, if it's a restricted card, you play it.
Yeah.
Anubis is restricted. It's a level 6. It doesn't stop your Belphemon effects. So great question. That's good things to talk about here.
Yeah.
On this Q&A, we want to talk about deck techs, deck ideas. If you want to ask anything to any one of us, I think you and I will probably be here next week. So if you got questions specifically geared towards us, do that. The next question, I always love this.
Yeah.
What alternate form of a Oh, this is from Big Z11. What alternate form of
Twitch watcher?
Is he?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, awesome. Hey, shout out to you, man. What alternate form of a Digimon would you like to see in the card game? And he says X antibodies do in fact count. You can go first, and then I'll go after you.
What does that mean?
So alternate forms, right? We're talking Greymon, Gaomon, right? We're talking, Sakuyamon and Sakuyamon maid mode.
Dude, this is for people that watch the show. I don't know.
I didn't know if there was anything.
Do I need to just add an X antibody? Jess?
No, sure. Pick an X antibody in this case.
Oh, man. You go first. Let me think.
Okay, this might be geared towards me since I am a big Digimon fan.
Yeah.
I really want to see Tyrannomon X.
Okay.
I think the Tyrannomon deck is hurting and needs an X antibody level 4. I think that would do a lot of good. I want to see a Justimon X antibody really bad. And with that, probably Cyberdramon X antibody. Just alternate forms. Anytime there's like an instance, like Metal Greymon Alterous mode. I never thought we were going to get a card of that. And then we got it BT5.
Yeah.
Right. So that was huge for me. So anything like that, I'm always down for the binder and stuff like that. I was just kind of going through the Crossheart series again.
Sure.
And, Shoutmon, when he uses the Darulamon tank cannons, Shoutmon, when he's riding on the stage made by Sparrow. Like, that would be fun stuff, too. You know what I'm saying? But there's even, manga exclusive. Like, there's a Regulusmon that's like a big, beefed-up, evil Leomon looking thing, Like, that would be a good example of alternate forms that we could get.
Mine's easy.
Okay.
It's on the map behind you.
Oh, Diaboromon X.
That's the easy answer. That's my easy answer. Yeah, it's got to be Diaboromon X. Honestly, I'm surprised that they gave us 2 more Diaboromons before they gave us an X antibody.
Yeah. No, I got schooled by Diaboromon Ace on the sim. It was hilarious.
Really, I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I saw it one match. I completely got countered. At first, I was like,
were
why
they
is
playing
he hard?
in Diaboromon?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it was a Diaboromon deck. Completely schooled by it, so it was really, really good.
I've seen people play that in like black blockers and stuff too.
But it's funny you've asked me this question, and like any other time except when I'm sitting here thinking about this episode, I could probably name you 10 alternate forms that I want to see. So I'm going to come back to this question at some later date and figure out what I want.
Sure.
Another question. This is another good one from Big Z again.
Yep.
Normally, I'm not going to pick 2 questions from the same person, but this was a good question. What vanilla/blank Digimon cards would you like to see reprinted as new cards? So I don't know if you want to take that as alt arts of original vanillas or if you just want a new vanilla in general.
Thinking of a vanilla that I used.
So that's why I wanted to specifically talk about this question, because when the game started, vanillas were king. You turboed with them, you hard cost too. Rookie Rush did it so much. And Bandai...
Are we talking about like what vanillas we want to have effects on them now? Or do we want
No. I think he specifically wants like vanilla cards, right? So my point was, back then they knew not to give Agumon or Greymon, Garurumon, any of the tribes.
Yeah.
They knew that they couldn't give those cards vanillas because we could abuse the crap out of them. Imagine if you had a Turbo Greymon, 1-cost Evo, that didn't have an effect that could be counter or whatever back in the day when Nokia would, reduce the cost of gaining memory. Right? Obviously, we had BT5 Greymon to gain memory, so similar, but you could still technically interact with that and stop them from gaining the memory, and it didn't apply in the raising area, right? So there are things like that where Bandai, kind of did a good job knowing what vanilla cards not to make, and able to take, maybe this Digimon's not as popular, but let's represent him. Let's give him a, like Metal Tyrannomon from BT1, since I've been talking about Tyrannos. They made him the BT1 10K level 5. BT1, I think, had 10Ks of every color besides black, purple that weren't in BT1. And so it's good examples of having vanilla cards. And it used to be, sets used to have vanillas because we could abuse them in pre-release.
Yeah.
Like I got a lot of use out of Footmon from the black 9K Cyborg 2-cost Evo in a pre-release.
I remember that.
Because he's very strong level 5. I love cheap Evos, big strong bodies in pre-release. That's great, right? But we've now kind of gone away where you no longer get vanilla cards.
Yeah, there's not many left.
Right, we're at the point in the game where everything has an effect. Everything has an inheritable. So I think to answer this question, this is why I've picked your second question, Big Z, is I want to see some more 2-color vanilla cards and maybe, just maybe, splash in some tribe stuff to see if it would break the game, right? Like, I don't know what we could do. You probably couldn't give a 2-color level 4 a 1-cost Evo, right? That might be really bad for the game. But, maybe like a Tyrannomon that's a 2-cost Evo dual color, right, could do a lot of work in a Tyrannomon-specific deck where it wouldn't break the game in other regards. So I think we're at the point now where we can do a lot more 2-color things.
Okay.
So I thought that was an interesting question.
That's where I'm at. I mean, put the words in my mouth. That's something fun for vanillas. I mean, I feel like... They could give us more vanillas, but I don't think they'll necessarily ever be used unless they're 2-costs or they're 1-cost Evos but turboing is kind of
gone. You do it with all the effects that you have from trainings, memory boosts, your Tamers, tribes, whatever. Yeah. So, it's a good spot we're at in the game where we can make things more competitive, have a higher ceiling.
Whenever there's a vanilla, it just seems like it's a filler card for the set.
Yeah. And I used to love doing 2 to 3 2-cost level 3s just so I could have something to either choke my memory or for my opponent or get an aggressive board state or, like if I had a Death X coming, I could just pay something for 2 and it would pop and it's like, okay, it was only 2 that, right? But
it's like we got that 2-cost Commandermon, right?
Yeah.
And it was like, and do we need to do this?
Yeah, and level 3s, you're kind of filling your dead spots, right, with floodgates, which is a good thing.
Dead spots are just non-existent. Now it's hard to find room for 11 rookies these days.
Yeah,
there's so many good top-end cards and options you need to combat the high aggression that's in the game right now.
Yep.
So I got a question.
Yes.
This was one that I picked, and it is from Security Checkmate. Cool name.
Yep.
VMon icon. So that's your avatar. That's my my kindred spirit here. To anyone on the pod, now that we have had some time with the Terriermon Advanced deck and the Beelzemon Advanced deck from last year, where do you think Bandai is going with the Advanced decks? What do you think? What's the criteria for being featured as an Advanced deck? As it feels like there's a focus on Digimon Tamers. Sakuyamon, anyone?
So it's reading half of this question.
I look forward to it every week.
Hey, first of all, thank you for watching. That means a lot to us and awesome that you're getting in here and communicating with us. Sakuyamon's honestly the first thing I thought of before you said Sakuyamon, and it's here on your question.
Yeah.
Because it does seem like they're featured on Tamers. But I think we are, I know starter deck 15 and 16, or I think those are more starter decks, not advanced decks, right? I can't remember the term on the box, but that was the black Greymons and the purple.
I think those are those are regular starters.
They kind of seem like they're almost those advanced decks because of the fact that there's a lot of good pieces that are usable and made those tribes significantly stronger. But I will say the Beelzemon advanced deck and the Terriermon advanced decks are quite advanced, and like
for sure.
And like they have so many good pieces that made whole new archetypes kind of spawn out of this, right? I will say, I if I were to guess, I'd either say Sakuyamon or Gallantmon, just because.
Think they'll double up on Gallant? Because we've already had a Gallant starter.
I think so. I think we can double up on Gallant because Gallant has such a huge fan base, and Tamers seems to be what they want to focus on.
Do you think we're going red?
I think red would be a good color to pick. I mean, I can't see. I think Sakuya would be great, but like, will it sell as well as a Gallant deck? You know,
I don't think so.
It would be more fun and more interesting probably than a Gallant deck
for some.
For some, right?
Yeah.
I think I almost wonder if they try to find the combination between having the balance of a popular character, franchise, theme, whatever that hasn't been represented in booster sets. We've had a lot of Gallimon support. Yep. Right, we've obviously we have almost too much, right?
Yeah.
Where maybe they won't make an advanced deck of Gallant because we've already gotten so many pieces. But
I mean,
honestly,
we have 2 Greymon starter decks.
If they're gonna keep this Tamers going, maybe Dark Horse Justimon. A lot of people want it. It is from the same series, same franchise. Honestly, I doubt it.
Yeah,
I think we'd get Sakuya before Justimon. One can hope. But I almost think they're going to pick a different series, and
I do too.
And I don't think it's going to be the hybrid season Frontier.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see if they did a season 2, like the whole armor Digivolution. I don't see them doing that. So then we're thinking, okay, what about Digimon Savers? Like, what about a Shine Gray advanced deck? That seems like, maybe Rosemon, I don't know, Ravemon. It's very interesting where they're going. I'm sure they'll surprise us, but
I have 2 in mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
First of all, this guy right here. I think Alphamon would be an awesome starter deck.
Yeah.
I think throwing some more X antibodies. I think it's going to be black.
I think black's a good choice for them.
We haven't had a black starter deck, a good black starter deck. I mean, we had the Greymon one, but that was a Greymon starter deck. And if we've learned anything from the advanced starter decks to the Liberator stuff, if we're going back, they're fine going back-to-back colors. And so I think the black starter deck is far enough away. And the other black starter deck is god-awful.
Yeah.
So I think Alphamon, I think, is a compelling Digimon. I think that they're going for sales, and so they want something cool to put on the box. And I think that's
Alphamon
a fan
would
favorite.
sell really well.
I think either Alphamon or I think they do Diaboromon. I think that
Diaboromon makes a lot of sense too.
Diaboromon advanced deck would be awesome.
Yeah, especially if it's full of good alt arts that you don't have.
Yeah.
Because that's what I always liked about
they could finally put the X in there.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily have to give us another Armageddon.
Yeah.
There doesn't have to be a level 7.
Yeah.
But an advanced deck, I think the criteria for an advanced deck is kind of just better. Just a deck that you can pull out of the box and jump right into, and still compete. Like the Terriermon deck is good, like as far as the Rapidmons and how competitive those are. But I think an Alphamon deck out of the box or a Diaboromon deck it would be really welcomed. I think either of those would sell really well as a standalone deck.
Yeah. So one last thing, and then I'll move on to the next question that I'm going to say is that with these advanced decks have come a season or whatever of a tournament of specific colors.
Okay.
Right? So they've already done a purple-only tournament. They've done a green-only tournament that coincides with these advanced decks. So I will say it's probably not going to be purple or green for the next advanced decks.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see what color they picked. I can't imagine they leave red alone. Like, it's got to be like a red theme night coming up soon,
Think so?
So, because, I mean, just out of everything you can do with red, like, why wouldn't they pick that?
Yeah.
So, but black could also be a good choice. Who knows?
Dude, a black only tournament
much
would
looking
be
forward to it.
crazy.
Yeah.
That would be those would be some fun decks for sure.
Yeah. So this is going to be my our last question for the segment. Guys, Get your questions ready. Jump in the Discord and ask us, and we'll talk about them next week. This is from Zero Flamenco. And I know Nito had already answered this. but we're going to take our turn.
Let's do it.
Hey, guys, my question for today is, are you guys happy with the way Bandai is handling events / bigger tournaments? And is there something you would like or wish Bandai do that they aren't currently for the Digimon card game?
Yes.
My example would be that I think they're doing well with providing more in-person events, and the Serial Omni is a great addition to the prize incentives. I would like more 3v3 events and pricing, and I personally enjoy twists on current tournament formats.
Yeah. My biggest thing would be come to the Pacific Northwest. I think that there's a huge community up here. I think if they did an event in Seattle or Portland, even I think Portland would be a little bit more central for the California folk and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, Seattle too, you could get Canada.
Yeah.
Right? It's close enough to Canada where we could capture a large group of Canadians to come in as well. You know, Portland obviously would be great.
Extend a little bit more trust and let some other shops. I know Wayward has put out the feelers before of hosting and trying to figure out, you know, bigger event spaces but sticking to Core and the other ones, you know, at PPG or whatever. You know, it's like there's other people that want to host these events and give it a shot, Bandai. Let some other people. Let's do some more of these. I mean, I think they've definitely listened as far as doing more events because it seems like there's an event every other weekend now.
Yes.
So that was kind of our first.
And it's almost like we're taking it for granted, you know, where it used to be there weren't, and it was hard to sign up.
One every 3 months.
Yeah,
now it's like there's one every other week. Because we have the Evo, or we have the Ultimate Cups, we have regionals, and so there's a lot of tournaments. So that's good. That's a good start. But now we want some more in-persons and spread them out a little bit. I mean, I know they're starting to kind of spread them out amongst the Midwest.
A little
bit. You know, you have like Kentucky, Tennessee. You have a whole bunch of these. You know. One's popping up here and there for people to be convenient. But if you're going to do West Coast, let's do Northwest. One time.
Something up here. We'll come show out, you know. Bandai, if you're listening, we'll even host it. We'll figure out how to make it happen. We'll figure it out for you. No, I think it's a great question. I like how Zero here talks about, you know, like 3v3 events. I think that was very popular.
Yeah.
At the tournament we went to in California, we were both like, how do we get into this? Let's do this, you know? And
then we're like, oh, it's too late.
Yeah. So it's very interesting idea having more events like that. You know what I'm saying? You know, and it's hard when you have different formats because you don't want to necessarily like kill off other formats, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But, you know, having an event like that would be pretty fun. So I don't know, man. That's tough. But I will say I am happy with the way Bandai is handling it. It does seem like they are listening. You know, it's harder for bigger companies that have a lot of responsibilities to make radical changes instantly.
Yeah.
So I do think, like we talked about, we're now having a lot more online events for people to get on webcams. I know his question specifically was in person. You know, and it does seem like there are more in-person events that are more available for everybody.
I mean, if I were to venture a guess, I feel like all of, I mean, Bandai's got a lot of card games going on.
Yeah.
And so I think when it comes to Digimon, they're probably focused right now on the format merger. I think that's probably going to be, that's probably where they're going to be, you know, for the next until April of next year, and then after that, maybe they'll start focusing more on tournament stuff. So
maybe
I don't expect them to move the ball forward as far as tournaments and stuff go. I think that they'll probably just keep on with this rigorous schedule until we get caught up, and then they'll probably figure out some more bigger things.
I think so too. Yeah, that was fun. Again, ask your questions in the Q&A section of our Discord. We'll do some more next week. Very excited. Don't be offended if your question doesn't get read. We just pick some. It's not, we don't like you or anything
post it
like
again.
that.
Just post it again.
You know, sometimes we don't see things. So
say, hey Jeff, you guys didn't pick my question. Pick it this week.
Yeah.
Remind us. All right. Well, we got a Evo Cup to get to tonight. So
I can't believe it's Evo Cup tonight.
Yeah.
I have no idea what I'm going to play.
Get that Magnamon.
Oh, geez.
Figure it out, buddy. All right. Yep. Well, that means it's time for cards of the week.
Sure.
You ready?
Yep.
All right. I'll go first.
Yep.
So my card of the week this week, it's going to be based on just playing with it in the sim. I've been messing with Omnimon Merciful mode again. Yeah. You know, you take it to locals, and sometimes you don't see a deck that it really affects that often.
Yep.
But when it goes off in the sim, it's like, oh, it feels so good.
Right.
Being able to bottom deck trash, and so playing against Devas, playing against dogs, you're playing against all kinds of stuff, mostly purple stuff, obviously. But Merciful mode has been really fun. It's been really good for me. I really like it. I ordered one of the gold ones. so I can play with it.
I don't like the gold one as much personally.
Really wish I could fit it into Machine and not feel bad because it's such a fun card and it is such a good counter. So we're going to work on that a little bit, but we'll jump in the sim and give it a whirl. But that card's a lot of fun for me. It's pretty universal Evo, which is pretty nice. It can go in 4 out of the 6 colors. So good stuff. What do you got, buddy?
Great choice. I was looking for my merciful modes this afternoon because I was gonna re-put it back into Dark Masters, specifically because I've seen it pop off and do a lot of good, a lot of work. So I think it's a great choice. But not only are we on the same page about merciful mode, we're on the same page about where our card of the week comes from, which is the simulator and the playing of the simulator. So mine specifically, I'm not going to mention names this time for the comments, but I was jumping on our YouTube videos, watching some past old deck profiles to grab the list real quick and build them in the simulator and play some games. And, doing that, you see comments that may be more recent than you've seen when the video dropped, when I was like keeping an eye on all the comments, trying to be interactive. So this is a huge shout out to the fans who can build better decks than I can because I rebuilt Raidenmon.
Sure.
And I have been having a blast. So my card of the week is not going to be a Pokemon, but I have to minorly talk about this. I was able to get what? You watched it with me. You were there.
Yeah.
I had 7 or 8 level 6s from Raidenmon thanks to a Pokemon and just milled out like so many cards.
Off the first Evo.
Amazing.
Or the first turn, yeah.
But what makes that Digivolution possible is this specific card, which is going to be Starter Deck 16 Matashita. That is my card of the week.
Sure.
Somebody in the comments had said, why aren't you playing Matt? And I remember seeing it when the video first dropped or around there or whatever, and I didn't think much of it. I think I just had too much on my plate and didn't quite digest it. And not only that, I probably didn't put the love I needed to into that Raidenmon deck profile video.
That's when you pitch a card, gain one?
Yeah, when you pitch, and it's all turns, right? So I decided to build it because I love the Raidenmon deck, and the Sim's the perfect way to have a jank deck where you don't have to spend how much ever money on Alter Bees and Raremons because sometimes people don't want to spend that money on jank decks, and I get it. So I'm sitting there building it, messing with it, and I'm going to the comments, and I'm like, let me try the starter deck, Matt. And it has been huge. It's been incredible.
Were you running a setter before?
I was running Izzy. I was actually briefly talk about the changes because it's real quick. I completely took out the level 5s, no more Gigadramon. It was a cute idea. I was able to take this deck to the next level and took out those 4 Gigadramons, added 1 more memory setter, 1 more Cannon Dramon. I added the Apoclymon, and I added, I want to say, another Alter B. Doesn't matter. That's exactly what it was. But basically, now I'm playing 3 Matashitas. And so, the way that it worked was you'd have Matashita and Marvin Jackson set up. Yeah. Marvin Jackson's, you go to 3 from Matt, start a turn. Start a main, pitch 1 card with Marvin Jackson, gain 1 memory, go to 4. Then you gain another memory with a Matt or 2 Mats going to 6. Because of this, again, whoever recommended this, you're clearly need to start a YouTube channel for deck profile because this was a great idea because that gave me enough memory with the Supreme Connection event to be able to play Raidenmon, keep it my turn by the time I reduce the cost by 3, gain 3 memory back with the Fujin, Raijin, Sujin, and then I can Digivolve either into a Pokemon or my new favorite has been like Alter B and stuff like that, and just be able to keep my turn going.
And if you use Attack of the Heavy Mobile first, you can just swing with it, right?
Yep, and if you use Attack of the Heavy Mobile, you pitch a card, you draw with the Mat. I've even had it where in security, they hit Attack of the Heavy Mobile. You pitch a card, you gain a memory off Matt. Yeah. That all turns is huge. So this was a great idea. I don't know why I didn't appreciate your comment enough earlier when the deck first came out, so my apologies. Thank you for being an awesome fan and sticking with us because that idea was awesome, and I've been having so much fun with the new version of the Raidenmon deck thanks to you.
All right. Well, you ready to go jump into locals and kick some butt?
I'm ready. I cannot wait.
All right. Well, stay tuned, guys. We have all kinds of BT16 stuff coming next week. We have we're gonna get our hands on some of those cards this week. So we'll see you guys soon. And once again, jump in the Discord, jump on my Twitch, jump on Jacob's Twitch. We got your brothers.
Yes, we forgot to mention that.
Too.
Jacob's twitching as well. Yes. Absolute Atlas.
We're going to be playing all kinds of Digimon in the Sim. Jump in, and we'll hang out together. It'll be fun.
Awesome.
So we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you.